Now, as well as the normal stress of using technology, it is stressful, and it shouldn't be belittled actually. Whereas previously I would go into a lecture room and be unstressed because I was very confident with what I was doing. Well, as soon as you introduce technology, if you're not a real expert, it's a source of stress, I'm afraid. Is it going to break down? Are you going to do something stupid? Are you going to do something perhaps not so stupid? But because you're in a lecture situation with 150 people looking at you, your brain doesn't work normally, and this must be taken into account. This is a serious point. Your brain does not work normally when you're facing 150 people. And if you do make even a slight error, it is extremely difficult to work out what you have done. You've got to be exceedingly calm and try and think above the hubbub that is occurring, because as soon as there's this silence that takes place, if something goes wrong, there's a certain silence. That silence will then be absorbed, will be used by these students. And so you've got to try and think, what the hell is going on? Something's gone wrong with the system, but with all this noise coming at you from the group, which might be 100 students. And that is extremely difficult to do, unless you're very capable about using technology or dealing with it. And it did break down from time to time, and I was tempted from time to time to just simply abandon what I was doing, to simply turn everything off and go back to the overhead projector. But you have to sort of work through it, and on the 2 occasions it did fail or break down. I did manage to recover the situation, but it's extremely stressful when that happens, and I don't like the experience, and that's why when I go in using technology now, I make sure that I know exactly what's going on and what to do if something breaks down. Certainly when I was talking about the voting systems, use of voting systems, that did break down about 4 out of 6 occasions when I first started to use it. And we, not just I, but myself and others had to look at the system and find out what was going wrong, and that wasn't obvious. But eventually we sorted it out, and now it's a much more robust system. The use of writing tablets is sort of fine in principle, but you do miss a scrolling feature, and you also, there's a certain tension which develops as you're writing mathematics. There's a certain tension which develops as you approach the bottom of this screen. And you're making a decision now, okay, shall I write a new equation, or shall I wait until the next page? If I wait until the next page, perhaps I won't be able to see the development of this equation, and the students won't be able to see the development of this equation easily. Because going backwards is not a straightforward matter with the technology that I was using. So there's a certain tension develops as you approach the bottom of the screen. So either your writing is going to get smaller to get on that screen what you want on that screen, or you have to make a judgment and move on to the next page. And that's not straightforward either. That's quite difficult to explain to somebody until you actually experience what's going on there. So I would certainly encourage people to use modern technologies in class, but to be absolutely aware that it's not stress-free. In fact, for a short period of time, well, perhaps not even short, perhaps for a whole term, you're going to increase your stress levels, and that's a choice that some members of staff will just say it's not worth it. For mathematics, is it worth using this technology? Well, why do we use it anyway? What I was using it for, and obviously the voting systems, I was using it to try and enliven lectures, and of course I had been charged with the responsibility of introducing technology into class. Whether I had been given that responsibility, whether I would have actually utilised voting technologies in class, it's rather, I don't know, it's possibly a bit doubtful. Using modern technology, use of voting systems, use of writing tablets and so on and so forth, in class, okay, let's say you get over that initial difficulty, is fine. But you wouldn't be able to even get to that position without the support of people with technical knowledge of both software and hardware, and that doesn't come easily, I'm afraid. And these people, we call them techies, are extremely invaluable, and without those people, and they certainly don't get the credit that they should get, without those people we wouldn't be able to stand up in front of a lecture and give our lecture using voting systems, using writing tablets or whatever. In fact, we wouldn't be able to use the data projector. We wouldn't be able to take a laptop in and properly get it wired up to the data projector so that it functions without too much trouble. So unless you're going to get into the technical side of modern technology, new technologies in teaching, you have to rely, and this I guess would apply to about 90% of staff, you have to rely on people with technical knowledge. And as I say, they don't get the credit that they deserve. So without that, it would be impossible. So every time, if a department wants to go down this road, they're going to have to come to terms with the fact that you've got to employ people with this knowledge. There's no way around it, I'm afraid, because individual members of staff do not have the time or the expertise that has been developed over a number of years by people with technical knowledge, techies as we call them.